And next year, I got to credit whoever put this fight together because this is a great matchup. Awesome matchup. Two guys that you could say they're prospects. I think Hyder's on a little bit of the older side, but they both have not had many fights in the UFC, and UFC's kind of still trying to figure out exactly where they are in the division. But the way these guys match up, it's an awesome matchup because you got a guy like Young Lee who's very solid in his stance. He has that wide stance, heavy base where you can clip him if you're fast. You can close that distance and land on his chin. We've had guys that have been able to close the gap on him and clinch him against a cage or take him down, but he's throwing heavy, and when he lands his 1-2s or his uppercut or his counter knees, he's throwing to knock you out, and if he lands clean, he can put your lights out, and he's had some very quick finishes. He has shown as well in his last fight with Blake Builder that he could defend takedowns against the cage. I think he needs to improve his cage wrestling and getting out of the clinch and back to the center a little bit more, but he was able to defend a lot of the takedowns against Builder. When they were out at space, he was just too fast, and he was timing Builder, catching him as he was closing distance, and just racking up the points. Builder was really tough, and he couldn't get knocked out, but that was good to see from Lee as well because his gas tank had been a little bit questionable in previous fights. That one, it seemed like he held up a little bit better. And in this fight, we're really going to see it because Lee, his last fight, he defended the takedowns, showed good cardio, but his first UFC fight, whereas the Road to UFC finale, a lot of people thought he lost that matchup, even though he got the split decision win. He was taken down, he was controlled for a lot of the fight, and I think that's exactly what Haider Amil is going to try to do. And then you look at Haider Amil, he's one of these guys that walks through shots, so he's definitely going to give Young Lee, at least if he fights historically how he always has, the opportunity to knock him out. But Amil is someone that is undefeated at 9-0, and he's been able to just eat guys' shots, walk them down, throw big punches. He attacks the body and, puts that pressure on you. And he's very physical. He could wrestle you. He could slam you, take you to the ground. And his aggressiveness and forward pressure has gotten himself taken down in fights. But with this one, with Lee, I don't think that's going to be his game plan. And even if he does try to take Hyder down, Hyder's more than likely going to be more physical, and he's good in that type of fight where it's a scramble fight, and I just don't think that Lee wants to engage in that. So Hyder is going to have to figure out, in my opinion, though, how to do damage, because if he's getting clipped, for a couple minutes at range before he finds the opportunity to close the gap and put Lee against the cage or double leg him or something, he has to do damage to offset that. And I could see it playing out where it's a fight like Lee's landing a lot of offense on the outside, similar to the fight with Builder, and then Amil's maybe clinching him against a fence, getting a couple takedowns, and it becomes a really close, subjective fight. But Lee also has a chance to maybe be the first guy to knock Amil out. I mean, he could run him into an elbow, a big shot, and Amil is reckless. So I think it's a great matchup because I feel like both guys could potentially expose the other. But skills-wise, I think Lee is more skilled. He's younger. He's going to have an opportunity to continue to grow, and he knows what these guys want to do to him, which is smother him, take him down, back him up, make it an ugly fight. So he's going to be getting better in that realm. And with Hyder, I feel like he only has one way to fight. It's be reckless, forward pressure, wild, push the pace, try to break his opponent because he's not that skilled and he doesn't have the youth to, gain a lot of that anymore. So I feel like Lee is the rightful favorite, and I think he's going to get the job done via decision. But this could be a fight where it's like Lee does damage and you think he wins, but then they give the fight to Amil due to control. So I see this as a close fight and wouldn't be shocked if Amil won and a lot of people cried robbery. But I think Jang Young Lee is just going to do more damage. And when you look at the scoring criteria, that's what wins you fights. I feel like he's going to be the better striker at distance. Amil may take him down or clinch him up a little bit, but I think he's not going to do a lot of damage. And I think Lee is going to be able to do a little bit better defending this time than he has in other fights, hopefully. So I'm going to go with Lee to get the win via decision.